Good morning. I'm Jim Carrick-Birtwell, and I'd like to welcome you all to Changeboard's 6th Future Talent Conference. This is the 3rd time that we've hosted the event at the Royal Geographical Society here in Kensington. I'd never presumed to call it home, but it's always great to be back. And for a venue that's played host to Darwin's Origin of the Species lecture, it feels like a particularly appropriate space for an event about humanity and technology. Darwin's book on evolutionary biology, published in 1859, had as its full title, On the Origin of the Species by Means of Natural Selection, or Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. The struggle for life has become a very contemporary narrative, particularly in the media, as human intelligence has been pitted against artificial intelligence, the rise of robots mirrored by the supposed decline of human beings. I don't buy this narrative. For full disclosure, I'm not a technologist. I did an English degree. Some people apparently get excited by algorithms. I don't. And yet, I recognize that a fair degree of knowledge about the technological changes and disruptions going on around us is no longer optional. It's essential. Fortunately, the most valuable lesson I learned from my education was to be comfortable and confident having conversations with people from different backgrounds, with different competencies and different ways of thinking. A very dear tutor of mine, the late Dr. Avril Bruton, who was the epitome of Donish eccentricity, once said to me blinkingly, "James, you won't necessarily be the smartest person in the room, but you won't often be the dumbest either." Now, ever the optimist, I was sure this was meant as a compliment. At least I hoped so. As I look for consolation in her comment, she went on to tell me a story about when she was just starting out as an academic and was asked, much to her dismay and horror, to accompany the then Conservative Prime Minister, Harold Macmillan, who was to be the honorary guest at the opening of a new building in her college. Avril had a highly nervous disposition, to put it mildly, and this was her worst nightmare. She told me that she protested to the Dean in the strongest terms, saying, "A conversation with the Prime Minister? What on earth will I have to say?" To which the reply came, "I'm sure you'll think of something to converse about." Now, when the moment came, she told me that she was in a blind panic, and all she could muster was, what did you learn from your education, Prime Minister?" To which he replied, "That's a very good question, upon which I've often reflected. My education taught me that I wouldn't often be the smartest person in the room, but I also wouldn't be the dumbest. And that has given me the confidence to ask the simplest of questions to things that I don't understand. That's jolly handy in my line of work." My consolation was complete. Having conversations is really what today is all about. Having the courage and confidence to ask questions about intimidating and complex subjects that might be outside our normal comfort zone. We hope that these will be the main learnings from the day. I'd like to propose that collective conversations are a powerful tool to empower humanity in the face of the complex challenges that we face. The conversations that we'll be having today in this room, in the corridors outside, across social media, no doubt, and hopefully in our organizations afterwards, have the potential to unlock wise answers about what our preferred relationship with technology should look like. Conversation literally means turning something over together. My tutor Avril, a great wordsmith, would have loved using the Latin derivation to find deeper meaning. Mark Ventresca, a professor at Oxford University's Said Business School, elaborated further when he spoke at a recent Changeboard event and proposed, We need to understand old questions that get reframed in new ways, looking at very contemporary problems and challenges through the lens of the humanities, the arts, the theatre, to ask different kinds of questions. And to do that, we need to have conversations to turn over ideas with others and give us more fruitful, actionable, and potentially complex answers. So what are the conversations that we're hoping to cover today? We'll be hearing from a range of really brilliant speakers and thought leaders, yes, from business and technology, but also from philosophy, the arts, academia, and society, to consider and provide insights around the following three sub-themes, if you like. Firstly, obviously, technology. What is the nature of the tech-enabled change that's happening around us? And from that, what are the questions that HR leaders should be asking of their business peers about these technological changes and disruptions? And importantly, what are the ethical, cultural, and practical implications of AI and technology? And how is this impacting well-being, performance, and trust within our organizations? Secondly, learning. In this rapidly changing world of work, there's an urgent need to reskill and upskill the workforce, including ourselves as leaders. How do we need to be redefining learning for the 21st century? Critically, how can we keep reinventing ourselves, unlearn the habits of a lifetime, and embrace an outlook of lifelong learning? And thirdly, diversity. The changes driven by technology provide an opportunity to reboot our thinking and redefine the talent pools from which we can source our future talent. A range of exciting perspectives and stories will address cognitive diversity, social mobility, identity, conscious and unconscious bias, as well as asking tough questions of leadership teams about what constitutes true inclusion and respect. At the heart of these conversations about technology are profoundly human questions about ourselves and about how we need to evolve as individuals and as communities within our work and in our wider society. We're thrilled to have so many of you here to fully engage with these conversations. And I thank you in advance for helping us to make this a really interactive conversation as we turn these important questions over together. I'd also like to thank all of our many partners for helping us to co-create these conversations with you. We're extremely grateful and fortunate to be working with partners like City and Guilds Group, our headline partner, as well as Alexander Mann Solutions, Heidrick & Struggles, Saïd Business School, Capita, Duke Corporate Education, Manpower Group, and Workday. They all understand that the focus of our working together is to add value to the communities that we serve, and that the best way to do this is to be part of purposeful and meaningful peer-to-peer conversations. Finally, I'd like to say a big thanks to the Changeboard diaspora. A special thanks to our team, and they've worked so incredibly hard with such passion, as you can imagine, all the small details to put this day together.